Welcome. So, in this early Monday morning session, we're going to be taking a look at two specific trades that I would have taken last night. I would have called them live and direct in the analysis channel, and I already forwarded the analysis, but I'm going to go more in depth on it here in this session. And the two trades that we are talking about are Euro GBP and GBP CHF. Now, here's the thing. Both of these trades are only currently floating around 20 pips, give or take, right? Both of them. Euro GBP, I entered in this general vicinity right here, right? And we will deal with that. We will explain that just now. We entered in this general vicinity, right around here. And on GBP CHF, we had a similar entry, but in the inverse direction. We entered right around here, right? So let's go to Euro GBP first and foremost, because this was the first analysis for the week. So let's use the replay function and try to make sense out of nonsense. So we'll say, boom, right there. So right off of the bat, the question you have to ask is, what direction is Euro GBP going in? What direction is Euro GBP going in? I'm most likely going to post this on YouTube. So I want anybody as well listening to this on YouTube, comment below, right? What direction is Euro GBP going in? Good, it is bearish. I think anybody looking at this would be able to tell you that Euro GBP is bearish. You don't need a PhD to be able to know that, right? Now, what is very interesting to keep note of? We know, and if you don't know this, the market really only is going to go one of three directions: up, down, or sideways. Now, something can be said that Euro GBP over the last few days has been going sideways, and you will be right. You will be right. Now, the interesting thing to note is at the peaks, at these peaks here, one can see that from here to here is bearish, from here to here is bearish, and from here to right here is also bearish. So there's both overall and current bearish momentum. Everything about this is telling me bearish momentum. Yes, it's in a range, but it's a bearish range in the regard that the peaks, every time it gets back to this peak, it's not necessarily a support or resistance. It just means that as it gets back here, it gets bearish almost immediately. Cool. The next thing we have to bring into question is what's happening down at this area here. What's happening down at this area? We know that the dealer will be inducing the masses to buy at this area because he's tapped this exact area also multiple times. Correct? Good. So we agree that overall Euro GBP is bearish. It doesn't look like it's going to reverse. In fact, it actually looks like a big buyer induction because we know that the masses, majority of traders, when they see prices going down and down and down and down and down, we know that the masses have a mindset and a belief system that says price has been going down for too long and it's hit a support, so maybe we should buy it. And we see that. We see that even in the groups, we see people have been talking about this exact concept, even up to today, up to this morning. It is 9 a.m., literally less than an hour ago, somebody has been saying that. Right? We see that. What is important? So we know that overall Euro GBP is overall bearish. It is also at this point here currently bearish. This is market open. Now, I am looking for reasons to sell because I know that it's not necessarily a reversal, because if it was a reversal, it would have created that very obvious W pattern after a bear trend and not necessarily stayed at this area. You have to always bring into question, right? If it is a reversal, remember the reversal is designed to destroy the masses. If it is a reversal, why is it staying at the low or staying around the low for so long, for such a long time? Let's be real. Where price is right here, we're using the replay function, but where price is right here, this is just about 20 pips from the previous low. If it was a reversal and it was going to buy in any big way, why would it be playing within 20, 30 pips of the previous low? This is giving the masses a lot of time to enter for buys. And that doesn't make sense to us the traders who operate in alignment with the dealer. The dealer, it wouldn't make sense for the dealer either, because he's giving traders an opportunity to buy. If he were to actually buy the market, that would be giving the masses a very good opportunity to make money. Let's be honest about this right now. The dealer is not interested in making money for the masses. He's interested in making money for one person. Who is that person? Comment it below. Who is the dealer interested in making money for? He's interested in making money for himself. So that being said, we know that we can scrap the concept or the idea or the belief that there's a reversal and that Euro GBP should buy. Correct? Do we agree with that? Do we agree with that? Yes? No? Yes? No? What do you all think? Yes. Beautiful. So here's the thing. That being said, if I know that it's not necessarily a reversal and it's overall bearish, it then means that I'm anticipating a continuation. Yeah? If I'm anticipating a continuation, it means that the market is going to continue in the bearish fashion, and all I need to do is look for reasons to enter for those exact sells. I have done this time and time and time again, and I have done this in rapid succession. And even now, this is a live scenario. I am in this trade live. I called it live. I am in this live, and it is currently floating. Now, it might be trying to come back. It might be trying to induce the masses to buy again off of the low. It might be doing all kinds of different weird things, but I digress. We'll get to that shortly. So let's play it out and see what happens. So right off of the bat here, I am using these moving averages. Let me be very clear to you right here, right now. The 10 and the 50 moving average, you can change them if you like. You do not have to use the 10 and the 50. It could be the 11 and the 51. It could be the 12 and the 52. The 14 and the 55, it does not matter. You only need to understand the way the moving averages operate in tandem with the market, right? In terms of with the candlesticks or bars or whatever it is you're using. And then you need to understand how moving averages really work in the regard that faster moving averages react to price faster but are less accurate, and slower moving averages react to price slower but are most times more accurate, right? Faster moving averages give you better entries, but again, you have to know the direction in order to be able to utilize your entry. And slower moving averages don't necessarily give you good entries, but they have a better tell on the direction. So faster moving averages, entries, slower moving averages, direction. You don't need to use slower moving averages, because if you can already discern that Euro GBP is overall bearish, you don't need moving averages to tell you that. Yes or no? So lo and behold, Euro GBP does something very interesting over the course of the night yesterday, right? Yesterday was Sunday, Monday or Sunday for me, right? And it actually did something. So let's see what it did. Euro GBP painted my favorite thing to look at in this industry, and it is called an ECR. It stands for Exponential Moving Average Crossover and Retest System. It means that this cross of any two moving averages, right, in tandem, listen to it, in tandem with the market structure, is telling me that there's a possible entry, there's a possible reason for you to try to enter the market right here, right? Now, at this point, I am not looking to enter as of yet. The reason for that is, even though the moving averages have crossed, this is a red candle. It would make sense, logistically speaking, it would make sense to wait for a black candle to retest, because that's what it is, ECR. It would make sense for a black candle to retest the moving average or the moving average cross in question, right? Because one, it tells us that, right, price is respecting the moving average, and it is also respecting the overall consensus of your trade. So what do? We watch. Boom, right then and there. You see this first black candle here? See this black candle here? This is your entry candle. Because what it tells me is, even though it is an engulfing bullish candle, the market is overall bearish. I don't know that this bullish candle right here, I don't know that right here it's going to buy, because nothing is synonymous with buys. We know that it's not a reversal. We know the market is overall bearish. We know it is currently bearish. We know that there's a bearish ECR, moving averages that are fast periods, are moving quite quickly and reacting to price quite quickly and telling me that, hey, this is actually a bearish cross, which means you should prioritize sells. No problem, ECR. I am listening to you. I'm going to put a sell position right here. And I'm going to put a 10 pip stop loss as I would usually do. And my 10 pip stop loss is right around this high. At this point, I'm anticipating for Euro GBP to do one of two things. Either stop me out almost immediately or head in the direction of my favor. The reason for that, and it's very simple. The reason for that is everything is synonymous with sells. If it is not synonymous with sells, it means I was incorrect and I'm going to take my loss. Let's see what happened. It gave me a little bit of drawdown, less than a pip. Let's be honest, less than a pip of drawdown, right? But less than 2 pips. Let's just say less than 2 pips. It's about a pip, 1.1 pips, right? Give or take of drawdown. But then it actually went, and it went to the literal previous zone. It went all the way down here, 16 pips, give or take, and it went even further than that. And that's current price right now. It actually went ultimately about, give or take, about almost 0.1 pips away from 20 pips. And it's currently floating at, give or take, floating at about 13 pips, give or take. My stop loss, in this case, yes, I do believe the market is breathing at this point. So to make sure that I don't lose anything, I'm going to put my stop loss right here. Just to be safe. Worst case scenario, I'm leaving with 8 or 9, give or take, right? And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because in any event, if I am right, and I am right about the direction, it's most likely going to break this area. Why do I think it's going to break this area? Because the dealer is inducing the masses to buy in this area. He's trying to fool and create a fugazi, a trick room to make the masses buy in and around this area, off of this area. So it makes sense to me, at least, based on everything that I am looking at, it makes sense to me for Euro GBP to sell or to continue to sell. And if it does not continue to sell, my stop loss is already in profit. I could care less what happens now. I am now able to proceed through the course of my day without any consolation of any worry of the consequences of Euro GBP coming back. I don't care at this point. And I think this is how you absolutely should trade. But that's just Euro GBP. There is potential for it to continue. If it does continue, kudos. If it does not, kudos. That's just the point of being a trader. You don't know what it's going to do. You can only look at basic structure and data and diagnosis and analysis and all of these different things. And they will tell you average what could or might happen. But we don't know. We don't know, which is why obviously we use a stop loss in the first place. Now, that being said, let's look at GBP CHF. As we know, GBP CHF, this is another GBP pair. It's not a GBP quoted pair, it's a GBP base pair. GBP base pairs are notorious for moving a lot. So let's look at this one now. Same reasoning, same exact reasoning. Slightly different, a slight variation, but let's look at it. So on GBP CHF, what direction would you say overall GBP CHF is going? Overall, forget the trend, but what direction would you say overall it's going? Put it in the comments below. Absolutely, it's bullish. Absolutely, it is bullish. So that being said, I am prioritizing buys overall. Now, we can only prioritize buys overall. We then need to make sure what is happening in the current or in the present. So we need to make sure that everything aligns and everything is synchronized. I want to briefly talk about synchronization. Synchronization is important for in any aspect of your life, right? You want things to align. You want, when you're working towards a specific goal, you want your expenses, your finances, you know, the way you work, the amount you work, you want all of these things to be synchronized with that goal. You know, you're cooking a meal, you want the recipe to be synchronized with the outcome of that meal. You understand? You want your car to work properly, you want all of the engine components to be synchronized with each other so that they can work properly and in tandem with one another, right? Same thing for a trading setup. You want all of your entry and directional and bias criteria to be synchronized. In a case like this, yes, GBP CHF is overall bullish, but we need it to be currently bullish as well in order for us to prioritize a buy. And let me explain why that is important. So the question you can be made is, okay, B, so at this point right here, it's bullish overall, but it's bearish here. And many people might try to buy above this high. They might try to say, well, they'll put out a buy stop. How many of you have put a buy stop above a previous high, anticipating that it's going to go higher? And sometimes it's going to grab your buy stop and then drag it the wrong way. You see, that is the problem. That is the problem. It is overall bullish. It is also currently bullish, but it is rejecting. And upon the rejection, the spread can grab your stop or it can grab your entry and drag you the wrong way. You don't want that. You want the market to tell you when it is ready to make its move. And let me show you what that looks like, right? Similar situation to Euro GBP. You can see here, now this is actually rejecting the low. And the next candle actually produces, wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That actually looks like it's bullish. And now we have something incoming again. The very thing that I personally love to see, which is the ECR. The ECR tells us a lot about the market. It tells us that, hey, here what's going on. It might make sense for you to try to buy because everything is synonymous with the buy right now. Now, I know right at this point, many people would say, hey, I should just buy GBP CHF right here. I'm going to try to enforce that you wait a little bit, because even though you can buy this candle here because it is a red candle, it's buying just a little bit lower. It's retesting, it's respecting. Sometimes this is a fake cross. It happens. It's not a perfect setup. It's not a perfect scenario or perfect strategy. And there are little holes in the theory, and that's just the way it goes for every single strategy that there is. But here's the thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I'll tell you, try your best, wait a little while. I'll give you a little tip as a trader if you don't know this already. For traders who are very impulsive, learn to wait for two candles. The two candle technique, right? So in a case like this, if you feel the impulse to buy GBP CHF on this candle, wait two candles and see what it does. And you'll be surprised. Now, I'm not saying that this would have lost, but in waiting two candles, you're allowing the market to show you its hand. That's the thing, the market essentially has no choice but to show you its hand. So if it is showing you the cards that it has in your hand, or in his hand, sorry, if the dealer is showing you the cards in his hand, you know he have aces, he has jacks, he has queens, he has kings, he has normal number cards. You understand? You know what is in his hand. So you can then take that and use that to your advantage. So let's see. Let's wait for two candles. One, you can buy that candle. And then two. I think we could try that. Let's see. Maybe, just maybe, it's going to give me a little bit of drawdown. It happens. That's just the way, that's just the way it goes. And then let's see what happens. Okay, no drawdown. Then it comes back. It gives me a little bit again, little bit. And then almost immediately straight back into profit. And GBP CHF at present is floating at give or take about 40, almost 40 pips. Give or take. My stop loss is right here. So worst case scenario, I'll be leaving GBP CHF with about 17. I'm cool with that. I'm A-okay with that. Worst case scenario. The reason why this would have worked, right, in my experience, is because everything is synchronized. Everything is synchronized. The amount of drawdown I would have experienced on this trade would have been synonymous with about maximum about 4 pips, give or take. It's 4 pips of drawdown. That is nothing. You can't experience that. Drawdown, people say drawdown drawdown is what happens with regards to support entries and whatever. Let me tell you what drawdown is. Drawdown is an emotion. Drawdown is an experience. Drawdown doesn't necessarily mean you're losing, It just means that right now the trade is not favorable to you, right? Here's the interesting thing with that. That is what causes a lot of traders to doubt themselves, close out the trade prematurely, and do all kinds of weird, wonky things. You understand? Look at and listen to other traders and decide, you know what, okay, this drawdown is definitely, it's definitely making me feel like I'm wrong about this. So I think I'll close it and go the other way. How many times have you done that? I could be honest with you, I've done that before, listening to other traders, and then you know something, you close the trade, and as soon as you close the trade, it goes in your favor. Let me tell you what the advantage of this system is. The advantage of this system is very simple, right? With such low drawdown, because I am not able to feel it, right? Because there's literally 4 pips of drawdown, regardless of what lot size you're using. Because you're not able to physically feel it or emotionally feel that drawdown, you're detached. You're literally detached, right? Some of my students call me, I am a cold-blooded killer when it comes to the market because I am detached. When it comes to the trade, it doesn't matter what it does. It could win, lose, or draw. It doesn't matter. And that is how you should approach the market, at least from where I'm standing. That's how I think you should approach the market. It makes sense to do so, at least for me, right? Because in doing that, you are now able to think clearly and focus on the rules and criteria that you're seeing in front of you. What do you all think about that? Just like that, it is Monday. Just like that, I am floating at what? So about 13 or 14 or something like that on Euro GBP and almost 40 on GBP CHF. That's almost 60 pips on a Monday morning, effortless with a maximum of 5 pips drawdown, give or take. That's a good trading day if you ask me. Now, I'll tell you this, they all aren't going to be like this. Every day won't be like this. This is not a 100% accurate setup. And I'll be honest with you, this setup is closer in accuracy to between 60 and 70%. You are going to lose trades because you are obviously trading the market and you will make mistakes. You will enter in scenarios when you're not necessarily supposed to enter. But again, when you are losing 10 pips, or you're in drawdown 4 or 5 pips, you don't feel that. You don't feel that. And that I think is where my advantage comes in because I'm able to lose 2, 3, 4 trades, maybe sometimes even in a row. And I just need one. I literally just need one to give me back. This trade alone here, if I am to close this, because I risk 10 pips on every single trade, this trade alone, if I am to close this, I am now able to risk 40 pips over 4 trades, obviously 10 pips per trade. And obviously I don't do that because obviously we need to have the setup to be able to take the trade in the first place. The likelihood of me taking 4 trades in a row and losing 4 trades in a row is, even though it's possible, it's not very probable, right? It's not very probable, not in a row. And if it is in a row, then I realize that something is wrong with me personally. And I maybe I'm not seeing the market as clearly as I should on this given day or this given week. Clearly, I'm going to take a break. That's what is important as a trader. Notice that most of what I talk about or spoke about in this session, in this video, notice what I spoke about is mostly what you think about the market. And not only what you think, but what the dealer thinks and what the masses think, and making sure all of that is in synchronicity with each other. And doing that allows me to enter the market in an area that is advantageous to me. That is the entire goal. Making sure that you can take a trade in an area that is advantageous to you as the trader. Because let's be real, there are a lot of things playing against you in this space. So you need to make sure that any handicap, any training wheels that you could get your hands on, that you put it on and you use it and you ride the shit out of that bike with them training wheels. Any handicap, if I could get more lives, if I could get more money, if I could get more safety, anything that I could do to increase my odds and make it safer for me to enter a trade, I'm going to do it. And in a case like this, I want all of my entry criteria to align and make sense to me. Therefore, I'm able to take the trade with little to no remorse. And that is what it boils down to. What do you all think about that? Put it in the comments below. Regardless of what, I don't care what happens to GBP CHF now. I don't. I'm able to now focus on other businesses and other things that I have going on in my life. I'm able to now if every hour, 2 hours or so, periodically check on GBP CHF and your GBP if they don't take me out, and continue to trail my stop loss further into profit, securing more and more and more as it goes. And that's what it boils down to. The question I know some people might ask is, when do you close it? I don't. Because closing it is an action that mostly surrounds the fact that, okay, you think it's done. Who are you to think that it's done? Who are you to think that it's done? Who are you to say that GBP CHF done moving? Who are you to say that your GBP done moving? That's rather presumptuous of you. How do you know that? The goal as a trader, and I'm being honest here, for me, my goal as a trader is to minimize my risk and maximize my reward. You cannot maximize your reward when you are putting limits on the exact take profit or closing the trade before it's finished. That is why I'm going to trail my stop loss. I'm going to trail my stop loss into oblivion. The single best trade of my life had come from the fact that I was just trailing my stop loss, continuing with it. And that's on gold. And some of you may know about that and some of you may not. And it is what it is. But that's the point. That's the entire concept. You trail your stop loss. You just let the market go and do what it have to do. And the more I do what it have to do, the better it is for you. If it comes back against you, it doesn't matter. If it does not come back against you, it also does not matter. Yeah? What do you think about this? Do you agree with the way I approach the market? Do you disagree? Do you feel like it's advantageous, it's disadvantageous? Do you feel like it's potent? Do you feel like it's a waste of time? What do you think? Tell me in the comments, tell me in the chat, you tell me what you think about it. Right? It's incredible. Well, listen, that's good. So that being said, I think that I am going to close off this session here now. I'm not going to drag it on any longer, right? Yeah, I think we're good now. Guys, if you are going to be taking any trades today, please practice proper stop loss placement and proper risk management. I wish you nothing but the best for the rest of this week. And throughout the course of the week, if I do take any other trades, I will try my best to document them and why I would have taken them. Win or lose, I'm not going to talk about only the winners. I'm also going to talk about the losers. It is what it is. It happens like that sometimes. Other than that, guys, have a great day. Have a peaceful day. If you're looking at this on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like, share it with somebody you think is struggling. If you're struggling, watch it 5 times. Watch it 5 times again. All right? Guys, peace out.